Welcome to Encounter, where we celebrate putting faith into action and community leaders who live out compassion, grace, and love. We're a program of the Broome County Council of Churches that addresses food insecurity through CHOW and the Greater Good Grocery, provides hospital and jail ministry, builds wheelchair ramps, and assists neighbors with transportation and shopping services through Faith in Action volunteers. We invite you to the conversation. Encounter your neighbors as we learn to walk together in love and kindness.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Encounter. I'm Jeff Kellam, your host about once a month. I serve as the co-pastor. No, I don't. I can never get my title right. I serve as the Parish Associate at the Union Presbyterian Church in Endicott. I got the name of the church right, at the corner of Liberty. I got a baseball today because we're going to be talking a little bit about baseball, which is, it's a sport, it's a business, and it's a religion for some people. And I have some connections with baseball that I'll share with you, whether you want me to or not. One of them is that a few months ago, I did a program about one of my grandmothers who was a Stanton, and that put us in the Stanton family line for Elizabeth Cady Stanton. My other grandmother was a Hubble, and that means Hubble telescope, but also in the family line is Carl Hubble, who is in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Go look up Carl Hubble. You'll be pretty impressed. Also, my Uncle Tom, Tom McMahon was on WNBF radio in the 1930s and 40s, and did a wake-up show called, I think it was called like the Morning Whistle, because it was to get the EJ factory workers to work in the morning from WNBF. But he also did Binghamton Triplets baseball. And Tom went to Johnson Field and did these games. When they were out of town, he stayed in the studio and by teletype got the report from the away game. And if there was a home run, he took a ruler or a stick and slammed it on the desk to make the sound of the bat hitting the ball. And the rest of it he kind of made up as he went along. He went from here to Syracuse and eventually to New York City to do sports there. So I've been a baseball fan for a long time. I'm playing with a baseball, that's all I can do with it. I have a pitch back in my backyard, threw my shoulder out. But today, my guest is Richard Tylicki, and this is kind of our annual summer interview with Richard about the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. He's the general manager of the Rumble Ponies. And last time we talked, the Rumble Ponies were, if not at the top of the Eastern League, they were near the top and eventually would win 90 games?
We would win 90 games, which is a franchise record. And then we would go on to sweep Somerset, the Yankees affiliate, in the first round of the playoffs. And then we would advance to the championship game, lose at home to Erie, and have to go on the road and win back-to-back games facing elimination, which we did, and we won the championship. Yeah. So 94 wins overall. It was really a magical season to be there. It's so much fun. When you're winning, it's fun.
I know. And the pennant is raised there out in left field. And it's just, the videos that come out at the baseball park that kind of help us relive that magical season. This year is a different story. Tell me about this year.
The team has struggled this year. I believe we're in last place right now. A few years ago, the Eastern League, about 7 years ago, the Eastern League went to a split season where there's a first half winner and a second half winner. So we didn't do very well the first half, which ended back on June 21st. We were hoping to do better the second half, and our luck hasn't been much better.
A lot of one-run games. Wins and losses.
We've lost a lot of one-run games. We've made some errors in the field and some base running snafus. Last night we were winning on the road in Reading, and we gave up some runs in the ninth inning and got beat. It seems like we found ways to win a year ago, and this year we're finding ways to lose. But attendance is up. The entertainment is great, and we're having a lot of support from the community. A lot of people, just like yourself, are coming to baseball games. And the weather's actually a little better this summer. Not as hot, and it wasn't as wet early as it was a year ago.
Yeah, right. They say, you know, in sports, when your team is not doing very well, they say it's a rebuilding year. But in minor league baseball, isn't every year a rebuilding year?
I concur. The goal in the minor leagues on the player side is player development, developing the players so that hopefully someday they'll play in the major leagues. And that takes precedence over everything else.
Yeah.
And there's, of course, the development's going on, and I'm not sure what happened because, to be quite frank, Brooklyn, the team below us, won a championship in the South Atlantic League. The team below them, St. Lucie, was in the playoffs in the Florida State League. And some of those players have gone up, some have stayed with us, some have been traded, but we just haven't done as well as we would have liked this year on the field.
We have a new manager this year.
We do. Michael Collins from Australia, formerly worked for the Houston Astros as their catching coach, was at the big league level as a catching coach and wanted to become a manager, and he came here to Binghamton.
The first time I heard him on the radio in one of the interviews before the games, I thought, he's British. Well, he's Australian. He's an Aussie. And I just don't think of baseball as being a big deal in Australia.
Well, you wouldn't, but they were in the Baseball Classic, so they're probably one of the top 10 or 12 nations that play baseball. Beyond the Caribbean, Japan, and Korea, Australia has produced some ball players. In fact, Erie's coach last year was Australian, the team that we beat in the finals.
Is that right? Huh.
So
okay, and you have some new coaches as well. The batting coach.
We have a female batting coach. Rachel Folden is the first, I believe, I shouldn't say the first, because there has been a manager at the A level for the Yankees, and her name eludes me. Right. But the Mets are a progressive organization, and Rachel has gotten an opportunity to be our hitting coach, and she's here and she's doing that, a former softball player, and she's done well.
That's neat. As I go to the games, you know, I see a lot of the same people there. It's almost like a sense of community in the stands. And we know there's a sense of community on the field. And that's one of the issues, of course, with players leaving to go up to the upper levels and then also maybe being set down, or other players coming up to the AA level. It's always in transition, and it must be hard for the team to build a solid identity as a team.
It is, but remember, all of these young men are together at spring training. So even our players will sometimes be playing on the big league roster, or all the shortstops will go and work together. So they all, I don't want to say they all know each other, because there's trades and there's signings, but a lot of these young people have worked together. And it would be like maybe I'm at AAA and you're at AA, and we know each other. We both play shortstop. So it is hard to bring people together, like you said, but also some of these young men know each other, and as they move up the system, like, oh yeah, there's Jeff. I know Jeff from college or from working together at spring training. So there's a little bit of familiarity. But you're right, in the minor leagues it's difficult because you don't have everybody together and then you stay together all season like you would at a college or a high school level, or sometimes even in the big leagues. Those teams can keep the core together. So there are challenges. Yes.
And as I mentioned, it was kind of looking at the people who go to the games. You see some of the same folks there. I'm in the booster club, and sometimes, I have to admit, sometimes if I get frustrated with some of the players, I'm not as much a booster as I should be. But I try to keep my thoughts to myself, because I know I'm sitting up near the press box, and anything I shout could be heard
on the radio,
on WRDF radio. So I have to be careful. But there is, I think, watching these folks come to the games, win or lose, they're having a good time, and it doesn't really matter what level you're on. I mean, you can go to a t-ball game and think it's fun, you know, maybe sometimes more exciting, because of just the comedy of these kids who are just learning how to run bases. But whether you're watching a college game or a single A team, there's something about the competition and about the skill levels that you're seeing. And when you get to AA, you're starting to see a lot of that gel, because you know some of these, like A.J. Ewing, Carson Benj, are going to be playing for the major league club.
Yes, and they are. Both. I mean, A.J. Ewing was on our roster earlier this year. So if you had come to the stadium, you could have seen him or gotten an autograph. He's now in the major leagues. Of course, Carson Benj was there a year ago playing in the major leagues. A lot of the New York Mets came through the system and are playing for us, and many are off playing for other teams now through trades and maybe they were released or free agency. So it's a lot of fun to see those guys develop. The competition's a lot of fun. And then just the entertainment, just coming to the ballpark, the sounds, the smells, the entertainment that we have between innings, it makes it an experience. And that's really what we're trying to do, is deliver great experience and lasting memories and bring people together. And create civic pride, because we can't always control what happens on the field. We talked about that earlier. Last year was like a once-in-a-generation type team. This year we're struggling, but it's still a lot of fun to be there, and it's a way for folks to come out and do something. In Binghamton, which is lucky to have the team, we're really a gem because we are the smallest AA market in the country. There's no doubt about it. I know we talked before we went on the air. You had gone to Richmond, and Richmond's in our league, and they're AA now. When you were there, I believe they were AAA. That's a city of a metro area of almost 1 million people. And here in the southern tier, we're at maybe 250,000, if that. So we're fortunate to have minor league baseball here, especially a AA team.
I've said it many times that when you look at the Binghamton market, pardon the expression, to have a Philharmonic and a AA team and the university, I mean, it's just, it makes it a very special place.
It is. I was actually talking to Paul last night. I know you had him on this program recently. I remember hearing him on.
Paul Sinawah,
so the Philharmonic's outstanding, a Division I university with Division I sports now. Also, we've got an opera. I was talking to the folks from the Opera House. We've got that here. So there's a lot in this community for the arts and sports that communities of similar size, even bigger, don't have.
And you mentioned that interplay between these various community organizations. It is interesting that, I mean, you've had contact now with the Tri-Cities Opera and with the Philharmonic. There is a sense of civic pride in what we have to celebrate here. You also mentioned the entertainment at the ballpark. You're part of the entertainment because you're roof man. Is that what they call it? Now this I think this is kind of crazy. Here's the guy that, general manager of the team, goes up on the roof of the stadium and tosses things down toward the crowd. I mean, you're not tossing bananas and fruit, I suppose, but
no. So what we're trying to create a vibe there, that people are coming to the games for more than just the baseball, the entertainment, and part of that's creating characters. And there's another team in our ownership group owns many teams, and for years I had gone up there, and we hold a special promotion called Super Splash, and I would throw water or host people from up there for years. But there was another team in our ownership group in Dayton, Ohio, that has a roof man that throws stuff off, and we're like, we're already sort of doing this. Let's do this. So I throw off like stress balls, soft things that aren't going to hurt people. We're not trying to hurt anyone. And the kids go nuts, even the adults. And it just adds, and then they look forward. I don't always come on. I'm not there for every game, just some of the games. But it really has, makes people go a little crazy. And now people recognize me. I was at Wegmans the other day, and a little kid comes up to me and says, "You're a roof man."
Oh, that's great. That's great. I get scared for you every time I see you up there. You're safe up there, right?
I'm safe up there. It looks more dangerous than it is.
Okay.
I'm a little bit further away from that edge than you would think.
The other entertainment, there's a guy that comes into Binghamton to entertain at many of the games, who also works for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Correct.
And also, he's done NHL hockey. I mean, this is a big name guy.
It is. That's Jaden, and Jaden is what our on-field host. He got his start in Syracuse with the Syracuse Mets, and he used to fill in when Ray, if you remember the young lady Ray, worked for us. And then when Ray left, he said, well, why don't I do it? So he started doing it, and then it led to other opportunities. And you're correct, he worked for the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New Jersey Devils in the NHL. He's worked for the Toronto Blue Jays in Major League Baseball and the New England Patriots in football, doing on-field presentations and what we call a master of ceremonies. And he does an outstanding job. We're fortunate to have him. he doesn't work all the games, but when he's able to, he comes into town, and it's nice that you ask about
Well,
him.
he loves Binghamton. He spoke to the Booster Club, and he said this is like coming home. He likes the small town atmosphere. He likes the pizza. He likes the Speedies, and so I think there's a lot to bring him back to. I mean, it's not necessarily his roots, but I think he grew up almost within the shadows of Citi Field.
He did. He grew up in the city, I believe, right in Queens.
Yeah,
so you're correct. Yes.
Yeah. He said when he does the Toronto games, maybe I shouldn't share this. He said I may be wearing the Toronto stuff, but he said I've got my Mets underwear on. And I don't know whether that's true or not. Well, we talked about the athletics. Let's talk about the business. You're the general manager, so you're not a baseball player. You've never been a coach. But now you're looking at the business side of it, and now part of the business side is merchandising.
It is.
And that's why the Marumble Ponies, you might go to the game and they might be the B Mets throwback. They haven't played as have they played as the Triplets?
We did years ago. We played as the Triplets, and I think what you're getting at is, as the GM, I'm in charge of the business, and at the minor league level, and we got into this discussion last year, one of the misnomers is I have nothing to do with player development or scouting. That's a New York Mets function. They develop the players, they scout them, they draft them, they pay them. Yeah. And what happens is our ownership group goes into an agreement with them. It's called a player development agreement, where we provide a field, we provide a hotel on the road, transportation, and many other amenities, and in exchange we get the players. Yeah. So I certainly coordinate. I'm like a mayor almost. I make sure that they're supported when they're there. And then on the business side, we have really 4 revenue streams. You have ticket sales, sponsorship sales, merchandise, which you just mentioned, and concessions, and then some other small forms. Those are the 4 major ones. So merchandise is important, and we will play 3 or 4 games each year as an alternate identity. This is where we take on a moniker or a name for a game or a series of games. And we play every Thursday night as the Binghamton Mets, or B-Mets. Yeah. And we call it Throwback Thursday, and there's discounted concessions, 2-for-1 tickets. We have the Binghamton Mets uniforms on, and then we even bring out Buddy the Bee and Ballwinkle. And this past weekend, and I know you were there, we played as the Binghamton Creatures, where we paid homage to
Rod
Serling and the Twilight Zone. It was based on an episode that was in a diner where there was a crash of a UFO, and the police saw tracks leading to this diner. And in the diner, there's a broken down bus, or not a bus. A bus is waiting there because a bridge was hit by a boat, and they're waiting on the safety of the boat. Well, there's 10 people in the diner, but only 9 were on the bus, and they can't determine who the alien is.
Right.
So I won't go into all of it, but eventually the bus leaves, it falls into the water, and one of the people come back, says, I'm from Venus, or I'm from Mars, we're taking over, and he's got 3 arms. And then the attendant in the diner, he was from Venus, and he says, no, we've intercepted your ships, and he had 3 eyes. So our logo this year was based on 3 eyes, and we played as the Creatures. We did it a couple years ago, but under another episode.
Right. So and when you do this, these jerseys then go on sale, and I understand that the merchandise, or the store, you said last year that sometimes the phones just ring and ring and ring because people around the country are collectors.
Correct. That's correct. Last year we were very successful. We had the bathtub donkeys, and I think we talked about this last year, and I don't want to go into all that, but we played as the bathtub donkeys, and the Southern Tier spicy meatballs were highly successful, where people were calling all over the country ordering gear, and we haven't been quite as successful with them this year, but people buy the gear, and then the players will actually wear, this is also important to know this, the players will actually wear a jersey and a hat for the Creatures or the B-Mets, and then we'll usually auction that off for some sort of charity after the game's over.
And the players know that this is part of minor league baseball, and they may not be really happy necessarily with some of the uniforms they have to wear, but doesn't affect. I'd be interested in knowing baseball is full of statistics. I'd love to know if the B Mets win more often than the Rumble Ponies win, statistically speaking.
We'll
game
have to
by
find
game.
out. I don't know the answer, but we can certainly check that and find out.
For maybe next summer we can talk about that. Our guest is Richard Tylicki, who is the general manager of the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. And we've been talking about the athleticism of the players and the sport on the minor league level, and also part of the business part of it. And I don't want to get too far away from, there goes my baseball. There goes my coffee.
There you go.
Thank you very much. I didn't catch it. Men at Work mentions Carl Hubble, my family tree, but I've got some other books here. And God Said Play Baseball, amusing and thought-provoking parallels between the Bible and baseball. This is by Gary Graff. And then here's Crossing Home, the Spiritual Lessons of Baseball, James Penrice. And then The Faith of 50 Million, written by Stanley, well, no, he did the foreword, Stanley Hauerwas, and it's edited by Christopher Evans and William Herzog II, and it's baseball, religion, and American culture. So this idea of, you know, for many people, athletics, sports, has become their religion, you know, and it's right down home when a church loses its kids to practicing games on Sunday mornings, soccer, softball, baseball. It's very clear that the kids and the parents have made the choice to not go to church on Sunday morning, but to play the sport. Then on the pro levels, you see religion everywhere. An athlete makes a spiritual gesture before making a foul shot or coming to bat, drawing a cross with the bat in the dirt. When a football player is injured, the players gather around in prayer on their knees.
Yes.
And we know that there's an organization called the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. The Rumble Ponies have a chaplain.
We do.
We talked about that last year.
Yep. Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So there is almost a kind of spirituality of sport. And I know that's not the main thing that people think about when they go, but you know, if religion is about community, a sense of community, man, you find that community in the stands and you find that community on the field. And if religion is about wanting to be the best person I can be, an athlete wants to be the best athlete they can be, and many of them are, you know, when they have an interview after the game, some of them, the first words that come out of their mouth is, I feel very blessed.
Correct.
You know, God,
or I give glory to God.
I give glory to God.
Yes.
Yeah, all
Yes.
the glory to God. Which is kind of like a musician who writes a piece and says, to God be the glory, you know?
Yes.
So and this is not to say they're at odds with one another, but the faith is a part of often, especially when you look at these books that are about the parallels, and some of them are funny, some of them are stretches, you know, but there are some that are pretty serious as well. I've made a speech. Now you want to
Right. I think there's got to be some sort of balance, right? I mean, I think it's unfortunate that there's youth sports on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that you should be at least afforded the opportunity to attend the church of your choice, and maybe some of these activities should be in the afternoon or on Saturday. I've never really understood that part of it. But I do believe, yeah, there's spirit, there are parallels, and spirituality is important. We talked about the chaplain, which is a unique position where you have sort of a spiritual and religious advisor in a secular environment, right?
Yeah.
Baseball.
Right.
And the players, in fact, we just did a Bible study in the office. They couldn't do it in the locker room for some reason, so we let them use the office. Tom O'Connor is our chaplain. So Tom does services on Sunday and holds Bible studies. I'm Roman Catholic. I've seen players at Mass, at these early Sunday morning Masses. And like you said, a lot of the athletes will praise God or praise Christ when the game's over. And getting what you're saying, it is parallel, but I think there's got to be a balance there too. You can't let baseball replace God, right?
Yeah,
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Well, we are good at, someone has said that there are no atheists. Everyone worships something. You know, it may be that red pickup truck that you've always wanted, that now you have and that you wax every Sunday morning. And so everybody has something. I know somebody who's got a collection of guitars, and it's like their chapel, you know?
Oh my gosh.
And they use their music maybe as a gift, certainly, and maybe it's not always a gift for God, but so I think it can be a very healthy thing that helps someone know this is a gift.
Right.
You know?
When we talk about the Holy Spirit gives different gifts, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully their gift of baseball can bring joy to someone, whether it's that child with an autograph or visiting someone in the community, or maybe making someone happy because you made a big play or hit a home run.
Right.
So.
And I think too that means that the players who do become heroes to a lot of these kids do have a certain persona that is an example. You know, the kid kind of, pardon the expression again, worships that baseball player. When that baseball player does well, or if they fall, you know, if they do something that's wrong, then the person has fallen off the pedestal, and it's kind of misguided at that point. Let's talk quickly about the coming week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will be home this coming weekend against the Hartford Yard Goats, which is the AA affiliate for the Colorado Rockies, and we'll be home starting on Tuesday. Right. And the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games are all at 6:07. The Friday game, which is August 7th, is at 7. It'll be our first ever drone show.
Instead of fireworks.
We're going to do a drone show, and they do all types of maneuvers and make different figures, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then on the 8th, we'll have a 6:07 game, and the 9th will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The 8th, we're giving away jerseys that are inspired by the wedding of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. So that should be interesting, and all types of promotions. We already talked about the Thursday promotion. Tuesdays we have discounts on beverages. So it's going to be another fun week. So 6 games in a row, all against the Colorado Rockies.
Yep. So this starts on Tuesday night at 6:07, which is our zip code, our area code.
Area code. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Well, I hope that the drone thing goes better than Richmond, Virginia's fireworks display, which apparently got the national news and went all over the field.
Did you see the footage of that?
Yes.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Our guest today on Encounter has been Richard Tylicki, who is the general manager of the Richmond Rumble Ponies. There I did it
Binghamton
again.
Rumble
The
Ponies.
Binghamton Rumble Ponies.
Right.
We're talking about Richmond so often. Man, I need counseling. I need therapy. I'm Jeff Kellam. I may as well admit to that. I'm the parish associate at the Union Presbyterian Church in Endicott. Don't blame them. Just an honorary position for me. And it's been my pleasure to host this edition of Encounter with Richard. I'll be back maybe next month if I don't get laid off. Thanks to WBNG TV and to the Town Square media stations for their help in putting the program on each week. Until next time, please be gentle with people and with yourself.